The Schuylkill River is a waterway that is linked with the industrial and fossil fuel development in Pennsylvania over the last 200 years. The river's survival is a success story credited to several forward-thinking government officials and caring local citizens who saw the need to protect this resource for future generations. Cherry Town is the Schuylkill River Project Director for the Delaware Riverkeeper Network. She has written a book on the history of the cleanup and restoration of the river following decades of degradation. 18th century architect Benjamin Henry Latrobe praised the Schuylkill for water of uncommon purity, but sewage, industrial waste, and coal mining upriver changed that. Local judge and outdoorsman Grover Cleveland Ladner is quoted in Town's book.
And now what has the Schuylkill become? Look at it. It is an offense to the sight and a stench to the nostrils, a fearful mixture of pickling acids, phenol and tar acids, wool scourings, filthy wash water from laundries, bleacheries, and dye plants, slaughterhouse offal, paper mill waste, oil scum, and sewage, all liberally thickened with coal culm. To those of you whose love of outdoors developed to such an extent that your heart aches when you see a polluted stream or a devastated hilltop, I need say nothing more. You realize without further argument that something must be done.
Coal mining in the anthracite regions of Pennsylvania took the heaviest toll on the river. Pennsylvania contains 75% of the world's known anthracite coal reserves. 100 million tons of this hard coal were extracted at the peak of anthracite mining in 1917. Coal waste and small pieces called fines were either dumped near streams or washed into tributaries. By the early 1900s, experts say 2 million tons of coal waste were washed into the Schuylkill each year.
The coal sediment moved further and further downriver, even to the point of, from the headwaters 130 miles upstream from Philadelphia, you would find coal on the tide upstream and downstream of Philadelphia in the Delaware River.
In conducting research for her book, Cherry Town says many people deserve credit for pursuing cleanup of the Schuylkill. But in the 1940s, Pennsylvania Attorney General, Senator, and Governor James Henderson Duff was the key person to move the project forward. He was an avid outdoorsman.
It will cost the state money, it will cost industry money, it will cost mills and mines money, and it will cost municipalities money. But it is money that must be spent and must be spent now, because we face a problem that must be solved now. To defer action will cost a lot more money later, and possibly then it will be too late.
In 1945, the Desilting Act was approved, authorizing the cleanup of the Schuylkill River. You can still see remnants of the cleanup effort at Chester County's Black Rock Sanctuary. It's now parkland, but at one time, water from the Schuylkill River would flow into this basin.
We're sort of in a bowl. This area would have had coal silt being pumped into it. Water filled with coal silt from the river pumped into the area behind us. As the silt deposits out and the water the water that the silt has dropped out of would be given a chance to flow back into the river through the drain here. These doors move up and down. They had, you would have seen in the past, there would have been these wires running from the top to each of the doors to be able to move them up and down. So as the level of the silt and as the level of the water came up, the water could move back out, flow back out through a pipe, cleaned back into the river.
By 1951, 16 million tons of coal silt was removed at a cost of over $31 million. The cleanup in the headwaters area of the Schuylkill River continues. Acid mine drainage is still a problem in many streams. At one time, a 45-mile stretch of the river ran acid.
Because they were deep mines, they would go down different levels, and they always had to have pumps to pump out the water because there was always water in those mines, and the pumps worked 24/7, I'm sure.
25 years ago, Ervil Keir came home to Minersville. She joined the effort to reduce some of the pollutants carried in the local streams.
It was important to me to try to get involved in what was going on with the river. Let's clean up the Schuylkill River. It was black when I was growing up, and we had some orange issues, iron oxide.
One mitigation project in Minersville uses a wetlands island to naturally filter out pollutants from the Little Schuylkill River.
It all goes downstream, and we care about the people who live off the water that flows in the Schuylkill down through to Philadelphia.
Officials say there are about 300 mine drainage sites across Pennsylvania.
And here in Schuylkill County, by far in the anthracite region, most of them are here because Schuylkill County owns nearly 22,000 acres of abandoned mine lands.
This site near the former Mary D mine uses a series of ponds to remove contaminants and raise the pH level.
A wetland treatment cells are constructed here that has some limestone rock in it and also polishing ponds that allow the iron and the aluminum, which are two of the more prevalent and predominant metals found in mine drainage around here, with a little bit of manganese, to settle out. And they have to aerate the water at some point to get the pH up enough that allows some of the metals to drop out, and the mine water then flows over the limestone rock that's put into the system as well to, I call it sweetening the water. It lowers the acidity levels that are in the water.
Robert Hughes says this is a low-cost way of treating high iron water.
As you can see, and this is right along the edge, how much iron is just coagulated in between that root system structure. So it's acting as a really great natural filter for the environment in which the iron is moving through this system here.
There have been other important steps in this environmental success story, such as protecting areas that buffer the Schuylkill from development. More than 84,000 acres of land have been preserved under conservation easements. Monocacy Hill is a significant geological feature in the Middle Schuylkill. The preservation of this 428-acre forested parcel helps protect water quality in the river.
The western portion of the hill drains to the Monocacy Creek. I think it's a second-order stream there. And then there's a portion here on the eastern side where it drains as a first-order tributary to the Schuylkill. It is also an area where there are steep slopes, so it, as long as the forest is intact, it is protecting against, excessive runoff and storm events, things like that for the lands that lay, downstream.
The effort to restore the Schuylkill is yielding positive results. Macroinvertebrates, the small water bugs that filter water, are returning, as are trout to some of the headwaters streams.
Schuylkill has come a long way, but the Schuylkill remains one of the rivers that receives a lot of regulated discharges from industry up and down the river, and so it continues to be at risk.